I think amazement in the unconditional love that these children project to us and sing as we come in, and just the feeling of how truly happy they are that we've come back to see them again and again and again. And we're Papi Land and Mommy Land, and that's who we are when we come through the door. And it's just an amazing feeling.
Brit was this special girl. She was a strong, independent, happy young lady who loved her life, loved her family, loved her friends, had a very strong sense of faith. She was that kind of kid that always went for the underdog, and that's one part that we're really proud of her for, that she really stuck up for those that needed that extra help. And I think that's one of the reasons that she fell in love with Haiti, is that she wanted to help those that needed the help.
The first time I came into Haiti was 10 days after the earthquake, and the devastation was everywhere. And we came up here to the Hotel Montana, and the entire building was pancaked, rubble everywhere. Pool was filled with concrete rubble. This whole area was unimaginable. None of this top or any of this was here. The one thing that was even harder was the fact that I knew my daughter was in that rubble, and I knew that she had passed. And we could not say anything because we still had hope, and yet the reality was horrific.
But it was the 4 stories high. So this is where it pancaked like that.
So that tree, I'm going to show you. This is where our daughter's room was at the Hotel Montana.
Even though it's really beautiful, that this is where she took her last breath, and it really is, it's very hard to think of it, that this is where she was. But as you can see, the beauty around it, and it's hard for us to see, you know, life does go on in the buildings and things like that, but it's hard to realize that she walked where we are walking, and what we're looking at, she looked at, and so it's hard.
Sacred ground to us.
Yeah.
It truly is.
Right.
As we were sadly planning Brit's funeral with Father John Madden at St. John's Church, he looked over the desk with just a swell in his eyes and said to us, "We cannot let her die in vain." And we agreed, and Cheryl Ann had this beautiful text on her phone, and I just naturally said, well, we're not, and we're going to build an orphanage in Haiti to honor her. And we just agreed that at that moment before the funeral that that's what we were going to do. We didn't know how. We didn't, understand Haiti at the time. We just knew that we had such a great love for our daughter that we knew we wanted to honor her last wish, even though she didn't know it when she sent Cheryl Ann that text. So Then from there, things just evolved. Money came in, and we didn't ask for it. This is the Bucket Brigade, who are bringing the concrete up the hill. Looking now northwest over the entire site. You can see the rebar crew is busy building cages. And material was cement and rebar, and that came from the Dominican Republic. So we had to ship that in, and we only had a bulldozer path 1,500 feet down the road. And so we couldn't get trucks up here, so our workers would use their manpower and haul this rebar up the hill, which was just a great challenge. And you know, some of the funny but challenging stories is the first time a year later we tried to get a truck up here with 40,000 pounds of rebar. It went backwards down the hill and tipped on its side. So they would never try it again. And so we truly built this building, bringing it one piece of rebar at a time. We're bringing the walls up about 9 feet right now. As you can see, we got a great crew. Guys, it's 2 o'clock, about 85 degrees.
And it wasn't really all that easy, though. I mean, I remember sitting at our kitchen table saying, oh, okay, we'll build an orphanage. I mean, it's in Haiti, so we started calling people and trying to research. I mean, how do you go about building an orphanage in Haiti? I mean, I know Len, I know that he'll get anything accomplished, and that wasn't it, but just, geez, how do you start that? I mean, and we started calling people and asking, and we had a couple people tell us, well, for $20,000, you can build an orphanage. And I remember at that time going, oh my gosh, how are we going to raise $20,000? That's a lot of money. We can't do that. And so then things started evolving, and one thing led to another. And, you know, over $2 million later in the building, here we are. And I say, how did that person ever come up with $20,000 for an orphanage?
Last night was kind of a zoo because they were all running around, you know, picking out backpacks and making sure that, you know, they spent hours getting their hair done and braiding their hair and the right ribbons and the right barrettes, and very proud of their new uniforms, that kind of thing. So it was a hectic night getting ready, and an even more hectic morning getting 31 children ready to, you know, get out the door and on the bus. But so they were very excited. That's all they talked about. So we're inside what is the temporary church and was the temporary school. After the earthquake, the school and the church both collapsed completely, and so they spent the last 3 years rebuilding the school behind us, which is behind this building. So up until this year, they were using this building to house 400 students, and it was divided into 6 different classrooms with no walls or anything like that, so you can imagine it was loud like this. Four of them have never, ever been in school, and we have an 11-year-old, and a 10-year-old, and an 8-year-old. They've never been in school in their lives, officially enrolled. And the rest of the children have never completed a full academic year enrolled in any school other than Be Like Brit, which did a summer school catch-up program to try to get them prepared for, you know, when they enter here this year. they know, and unlike kids in the States, I mean, some kids in the States obviously are excited to go back to school, but here it's all summer long. Can we go to school? Can we go to school? And it's just seen as such a privilege to be able to go, and so to have that provided for them through Be Like Brit, through child sponsorship, they really understand. I really get a sense, even though they're young, of how important and how precious that gift of sponsorship and education really is for them. It's their only opportunity to do better than the generation before them.
It's a really big life changing for the children to go to school in Haiti because most of the poverty coming from uneducated people. Okay, when we have the children that go to school, that change their life completely. In my experience, and then I see a lot of kids that go to school, and then even though the country is poor, but that help them to survive. They know what to do to survive. They have a way out. So when they don't have any education at all, so they don't have any way out in a country that is very poor, that really don't offer much from the government. So people use the intelligence that they get from school to survive. If they were not in school, so they were pretty much walking in the street without doing nothing, being bad boys, I could even say.
It's called Haiti Paradis, which means little paradise, and it's obviously a little remote. And we found a set of 3 brothers here that we brought in, and then another child from this area. So you'll see when we get to the clearing, there's a bunch of houses together, and it's kind of, more rural place, one of the more rural places that we found. And you'll see the houses that they have are post-earthquake, NGO donated housing, and the structures look quite nice and sound. But if you get a look inside, which they'll let us do, there's like 9 people in one small room, and it's really pretty. So they were living in this house here. There's the mother, the grandmother, and 9 children, and it's only actually half of that structure that's theirs. So obviously it was extremely overcrowded, and the mother is she's mute and not able to provide for the family. So it was after several visits and with the connection, personal connection with the family, we decided to take 3 of them in. So this is kind of standard for the rural poor in Haiti as far as the kitchen goes. Those who can afford buy charcoal at the market, and those who can't collect twigs. And so this is actually, they use 3 stones to kind of retain the heat, and then they use any kind of branches or twigs they can collect, to cook over that. Families that have a little bit more money can afford to buy charcoal at the market, but this family doesn't. Presumably, they can't afford it, and also, where's the food? They don't have any food on site, so they probably eat when they can, which is most likely not every day. So.
Today is the open market in Grand Goave, so pretty much we have people coming from everywhere coming here and sell whatever they have and do whatever they can. And pretty much the kids usually with their parents in the open market, even though it's school season or not. If they're not in school, they usually found them here with their parents selling stuff. And then they grow up like that, and then they continue doing the same thing. They don't really have a good economy in this, so they don't really get much, but they just manage with what they have to live a life in any way that they can.
Ou gen 10 ans, yo t'aime, ou pa se yo pi petit pour 10 ans. E vre? Ou bezwen manje epinard, oui? Oh, bye-bye.
Somebody didn't like us talking to him.
Ou men kap vini. Ok? Peut-être au cap d'eau. Les petits, les pas capables de manger.
Okay.
So we just ran into one of our children's grandparents who he was living with before he came here, and she's elderly. She's got several grandchildren in her care, and her house, literally broke almost in half during the earthquake, and so she has a small market stand here. And people always ask us, how do you decide which child to bring in? And, the short answer is, we do basically home visits and vulnerability assessments, and we look at different categories like food and shelter and nutrition and medical and things like that. But the long answer is it really just depends, on certain criteria, and then we always look at circumstances.
Oh, ok. Pas besoin, merci. So you see water in plastic bags, and you'll see people kind of bite the corner off and just kind of suck on this as they walk around. And 3 for 5 good, which is less than 10 cents. So, and that's how a young girl who was presumably a teenager, under the age of, I would think, probably 14 or so, makes her living right now.
So they're in school, Monday through Friday from 7 to 11 or 12. And then because the school days are short, at Be Like Brit, we have an after-school enrichment program. We have 7 teachers on staff, and they spend afternoons from 2 to 5 with them, Monday through Friday, going over their lessons, making sure their homework's done, grading their homework, checking their homework, and really sort of reinforcing what they're learning, because the teaching style in Haiti is very much rote memorization. So, the teacher will write something on the board and you'll copy it 5 times in your notebook and be expected to learn it. But in the absence of seeing that, whatever you've copied before, trying to reproduce it sometimes is challenging. So we try to work in some more Western approaches to teaching and education to sort of supplement what they're getting in school here. Part of the programming at Be Like Brit includes keeping the child connected with their community and family of origin. So what we're doing right now is doing community visits. We'd like to keep the kids connected to their communities because I often refer to Be Like Brit as kind of a bubble of privilege. It's not really real life in Haiti, and so it's important to keep them safe and secure, in those walls, but connected to their roots, so that when they, eventually, turn 18 and finish the program at Be Like Brit, that they know how to function in Haitian society, like their family does, and like a Haitian would.
Ah, on parle, oui, ça. Après 4, ok? Michel? 4.
Merci Jésus pour la nourriture que tu nous donnes.
And we feed the kids 3 or 4 times a day, and we give them breakfast, and we give them lunch, and we give them dinner. That means 3 meals per day.
We've had, tens of thousands of people volunteer, help us to help the children of Haiti. And it's very hard for Cheryl Ann and I, because we've always been the givers, not the receivers. And after years of therapy, we've learned to receive. And it's not for us, it's for the children. And that's what we have to, that's what we've come to terms with. And we have 35 children living here at Be Like Brit. And every month the door has to be open and the bills have to be paid. And we've been totally blessed with so many people, whether it's someone sponsoring a child at $33 a month, or somebody who's sending clothing down or peanut butter down.
Bigger ones.
Oh, okay. It's kind of like color by number,
Yeah, color by number, but they
paint
make
by number.
So this is really exciting, Jonathan, and the 8 hockey bags that we just brought down. Tuna fish, which is the protein, and peanut butter, which we constantly get donated because meat is very expensive down here, and it's a great way for the children to get their protein into them. Soap, I think that's self-explanatory. And the best part for the girls is hair clips, hair clips, hair clips, hair clips. And so they love it, and the more the merrier, unless you're actually doing the hair, but the girls love that. So here's just some of the items that have been generously donated, and we feel really honored.
You know, this is all stuff that I had on a shopping list to go to the market in Petit Goave and buy with cash, you know, from the operating budget, and now we don't have to. This saves us hundreds of dollars. Because we actually we made a list. We were going to go buy toothpaste, shampoo, this kind of stuff, you know, in the next day or two, because back to school we got to be stocked up, and lo and behold, hockey bags come down, and donors pull through for us. So it's amazing how fast people respond to that.
Right here is one of our depot rooms that so many people have donated items to us. As you can see, all the clothes here for the children. We have shoes, hundreds and hundreds of pairs of shoes have been donated for the children. Sandals, sneakers, their school shoes, which is absolutely amazing. Underwear, and in Haiti, a big thing is the girls, their hair. All the barrettes, the bows, the ribbons, the more the merrier and the happier they are. So we have had many people, and ribbons.
Okay.
And this is Mommy, who helps with the children and does an incredible job with them and gets them prepared and gets them everything that they need, right?
I'm happy. Thank you so much.
And so this is where a lot of our leftover items, or extra items, I should say, are stored, right here in the depot. And next we'll walk over. And here's one of our 3 exam rooms that we have. Our 3 medical directors, Susan Johnson, Greg Ciatone, and Amalia Ciatone, they got everything that you see here donated to this clinic, which we think is absolutely amazing. Unfortunately, we've already had to use the medical table here. One of our boys had to have his eye drained, and they did it right here. But we're blessed that we have that right here. The blood pressure cups and the lights. And this right here is absolutely fantastic. We have medical groups that come down here, and they're teaching our staff how to do CPR and first aid, not only on the children, but on staff members. And we just think this is absolutely fantastic. And once we're established and we know what we're doing, we hope to do things like this out into the community. So a facility like this is just really, truly a blessing. This right here is one of our typical rooms for the children. Each room has 6 beds for the 6 children. For me, when we were designing this, it was really important that each child have their own space. Most of everything in Haiti, everyone shares everything, which is beautiful, but I wanted them to have something that if they get a special gift from somebody or a special toy, that they have it. So they have these boxes right here at the end of their beds that they put something special in. Right here are their cubbies that they have, where they have their their clothes, their personal items, their shoes, and each child has their own. And this was really important to me, that they each have their own. Right, Shasha? Oui?
Our goal is to be a self-sustaining orphanage, and once we have all our children sponsored, we will have attained that self-sustainment. So it's a very challenging goal, but yet one that is actual and that we can see us coming to the finish line.
Well, I think the challenge for the fundraising part of it really is that if we don't have the funding to keep this place open, yes, it affects me and Len, but it also affects our children that are here, the 48 workers that we have here, the community that we have here. We feel a strong sense of a responsibility here, not just for us. And so to have that worry every month, that's what motivates us to keep doing what we're doing. But we really are responsible for so much more than just the children here. I don't know that how healing it is here for me. Do you know what I'm saying? It's very difficult for me to be here, meaning I love our children, I love everything, but it's still very difficult to be here. And so the healing process is always ongoing. I don't feel, for me personally, that the grief has ever gone away. I think that it just makes me sad to be here sometimes because I know that Brit, it affected her so much to be here, and I'm proud of her for that it had that effect and that she wanted to come back and change it. But it just makes me sad that she didn't get to do that. She doesn't get to be a part of this physically, even though I know that she really, this was what she wanted, and I know that. But as her mom, personally, I wish she was like right here next to me doing all of this.
You know, the raw reality is our daughter has passed. She's gone. And the day that our first child came into this orphanage, Cheryl Ann and I were, it was a bittersweet moment. It was just looking at this little boy that his aunt brought in and just understanding that his life, as our lives have been changed forever, his life was going to be changed forever. And I looked down at him and, you know, I said, "Come on, yay," which is, "How are you?" And his first words to me were, Grand Goave, which is, "I'm hungry, I'm hungry." And I just knew at that moment that Brit's spirit would live on helping these children. She would continue to be that voice that she was for those that did not have one. And that's what we're doing here at Be Like Brit. We're helping those children that she fell in love with in Haiti.
Yes! Okay. The feet's here. Over here. Dennis.
Hi, my name is Kristen Hervey, and I am the USA Director for Be Like Brit. Part of my job is to lead Missionary Service Groups, which is our version of missionary trips down to Haiti for a one-week volunteer trip. The groups help with programmatic activities for the children at Be Like Brit. They also work in the community to help improve the livelihoods of our neighbors, helping to build or fix a new home for them, moving them out of temporary shacks and tents into more permanent structures. After the week in Haiti, missionaries develop a strong connection with not only each other, but the children at Be Like Brit's orphanage. Becoming a missionary has been a life-changing experience for many of our volunteers. If you'd like to be like Brit and continue the compassion of Britney Gengel and help the children at Be Like Brit's orphanage, please visit our website today and sign up for one of our missionary trips.